In this video, I'll show you all the steps to fix a common problem with this particular Whirlpool fridge, in which the freezer starts to dump water onto the floor. They're pretty decent sized puddles every few days. If you're starting to see the water, I would immediately order this particular part on Amazon. When I ordered it, it was about $25. And then the second thing I would do is remove the ice from the bottom of the freezer to prevent more water from spilling out and damaging the floor further. So I'll show you how to do that in this little clip right here.
All right, so if you're getting water coming out of the fridge down on the floor, like down here, one thing you can do temporarily is open up the bottom of the freezer, and you'll find that this bottom tray is going to be just full of ice. And you can take the ice out, and then it will take maybe, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days or more for it to fill up again before it starts dumping extra water on the floor.
If you keep checking for ice and removing it, you should be able to prevent any water from coming out until the part arrives. The rest of this video is a series of clips of me doing the following steps: pulling out the fridge and putting in the new part, turning off the fridge, taking out all the food from the freezer, removing ice buildup in the freezer, and then reassembling things, returning the food, and turning the fridge back on. Here's a list of all the items you'll need to actually repair the fridge. You'll need the new part, some sort of protection for the floor for when you're pulling out the fridge and putting it back. 2 people for moving the fridge makes it a bit easier. A 1/4-inch socket, some flat screwdrivers, coolers for the frozen food, and then some towels, probably a hairdryer, and some hot water.
All right, so the first step is to pull the fridge out. And if you put something down, I would tape it to the ground to prevent the wheels from putting lines on the rest of your wood floor. This is just like a hardboard kind of stuff with like a 45-degree cut on the one end, just so the wheel can go up onto it, and just tape it down 2 paths like that. So after you get the fridge out, you're going to want to use a socket, 1/4-inch socket, and take off all of these nuts, or all these bolts here, whatever, sheet metal screws on this bottom panel. So there's whatever, maybe 8 or 9 of them around the outside edges here. And then this will just slide up and out, and you want to take this one off too, so you can move this line out of the way. Down at the very bottom, to get this bottom off, you just push it on this white tab and pull up on the gray part, and it will pop off. And after you pop off the bottom of this gray piece, you just want to pull it up and pull it out. And then at the top, you have this black kind of rubber piece, which is where it was attached. And you just want to pull this or peel this off, like this. And this is the whole problem, is that this becomes plugged with all sorts of stuff, and then the water backs up, and the water normally goes through this slot, which obviously you can't anymore. So that's all you have to do is pull this off, maybe wipe that that white piece off, and then put your new piece in, and go from there down to that clip. So this gray plastic tray piece is going to be thrown away, along with that little black rubber piece that I showed you a second ago. And then your new kit is going to have this tubing and this little white rubber ring. And this thing is going to go up onto this exposed part. So just press it up on there and get it all the way up. I'll get it all the way to the top in a second. And then you're going to take this part, and you're just going to press the white part up into here. You're going to press this up into the white, and then at the bottom is the same kind of clicky piece It's gonna fit right on that bottom post, just like that. Just push it on and it'll snap in. That little tab should click into that bottom slot. All right, so this is how it should look in the end. It's a great piece. It's just snapped on here, and then up here it's just pushed all the way up. It's flush to the top, and that little white circular piece is up in there between the black and the white. And then you just put the backing back on. Don't forget to slide this into that slot, and that one screw will go in here through the metal, sheet metal, and into that hole there. And then you can push the fridge back to where it was. Okay, so we have the new part put in the back, and we got the fridge back in its spot. So now what you need to do is get the ice out that's built up on that back wall where all those back slots are back in there. And we need to pull this panel off. This panel with all the slots in it. We need to pull that off and get all the ice out from underneath and behind it. And to do that, we're gonna have to take off this front door, which is gonna let us take these slidable trays out so we can actually reach in there and grab everything and take these baskets out. And so to get the door off, it's just take off this and this on each side. And when you do it, have somebody hold the door with the handle here, and then you can take two off one side and go over and take two off the other side, and the whole door just kind of falls off. So then after you get the door off, all you need to do is kind of take each of these arms on either side and just kind of flex them outward, pull them outward, and you're gonna see these white tabs in here are gonna let go. And then you can take this whole center bucket out. You kind of have to pull out on each side. The door was the only thing holding them this set distance, and so you just kind of push them outward and slide out this whole center thing. So after you get that center part out, this is what you're gonna have left, just like the metal part of the drawer sliders. And when you're pulling that big white plastic part out, there's like a piece that's hooked around the back here. You just gotta lift it up and the whole thing comes out. You just gotta press each of these sides outward to let go of these tabs here, you can see now, and then the whole thing lifts out. So here's that tray I was showing you earlier. You can take this ice out periodically. As the water comes down here, it will build up here and then will eventually leak out of the fridge. So if you keep clearing these, kind of breaking them free and lifting them out, you can probably keep the water from going onto your floor for about another 5 days or so. Anyways, the next thing we need to do is pull off this back panel here. All right, so to get this panel off, I'm gonna take off these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then we'll also have to unclip the light here. They have a little picture here of a screwdriver. You push it in, you push it one way to the side, and you push it in here, and you push to the side. Yeah. And you push to the side, and you can take this plastic grate off. You push in here, and you push to the side. You can take this plastic cap off too. And this whole metal thing is gonna slide up. You have to slide it up over these, so it's gonna come up and kind of out like this. Yeah, when you go to get this center part out, I forgot there's a tab in the center too. You just press that little tab up, and then the two side tabs are on here. They look like that. So you want to stick your screwdriver in and push towards the outside on this side and push towards the outside on this side too. This falls off, and this guy will become loose like this. There's a little light in there. You can leave it there if you want. And then you want to take this piece of metal, get your finger cut by the fan, and try to pry this free. There we go. Like this. We'll have to pull this out. Two hands. So then what needs to happen here is in the back, once you get that panel off, you're going to see all these fins here, and we basically need to get, there's this metal tray down at the bottom, and there's going to be ice under the tray down here, and there's going to be ice over the tray right up in here. And so you want to get the ice out of both locations. And you should see that the white here of this plastic here is kind of, there's a curve here. It's kind of curved, and there's a drain directly under this, so this curvature is part of that drain. and we need to make sure that the drain is clear all the way. That leads down to the new piece that we installed, and so we need to make sure that that's a clear path. It becomes all, there should be no ice in any of these places, but it iced up because that drain was plugged. So we need to get all this ice out. One way to get it out is kind of chip it out and pull it out. Try not to bend all the fins, or if you do, try to bend them back to straight. Be careful, they're really sharp. Another way to get some of this out is once you get the bigger chunks out, maybe grab a hair dryer and just gently heat it. Don't melt the plastic, but some gentle heating can help get it out. And then finally, what I recommend doing is getting like maybe 8 ounces of hot water from the microwave and pour it down this hole and make sure that it gurgles down and that it actually is fully clear and fully melted. So a lot of the ice is already gone here, but the easiest way to get it out of the top part of the tray that I found is to take the screwdriver and just kind of break it periodically into chunks, and then push the chunks to the far left where you can grab them right here, or to the far right where you can grab them right here. But these corners on these fins are really sharp, so I would avoid putting your hands in here and trying to get it out. I cut up my hand pretty bad in the other fridge, but now I learned. So as you're trying to get the ice out, the hardest ice to get out is right around this center drain. You can see we got most of it out here. There's some small pieces that fell back down into there. But once you get a hole, the water is going to start to drain from both sides down into that drain. And then you just want to keep working to get the rest of the ice out of here. So we're using just using a hair dryer here without melting the plastic, and just kind of heating that metal tray and trying to get as much of the ice to melt as possible and to get down the drain. And then at the end here, I think we'll take some really hot water from the microwave and pour it on the tray and let it go down the drain and melt anything that's deeper in the drain, any little pieces that we can't get to. And then we should be good to put everything back together once we feel like this is totally clear of ice, both above and below the tray. We found the tray had some more ice underneath it, kind of further back. You can hear this gurgling right now as I push water into it. But there was more ice further back, and so that's why we're using the hair dryer a little bit, because I can't reach too well in here with a screwdriver or anything to chip it out. So we just took about, I don't know, maybe 12 ounces of hot water that we heated up in the microwave and poured it on the tray here, and poured it on the tray over in this corner and let it go down into the drain just so it melted any ice that was down there. I wouldn't do much more than 8 ounces because a lot of the water, a lot of the ice that's melted and other water that was here has also gone down that drain, and so it needs to evaporate from the tray that's down there. So I wouldn't want to, you don't want to overfill the tray or anything. So maybe 8 ounces is probably safe. And everything looks good now. And so now we're just going to take this sheet and we're just going to push it over the back edge there. I need 2 hands again. You're going to push it back up, and then you're just going to click in this big plastic piece here over that fan, and you'll make sure you get the fan, or the light. Make sure you get this light wire out, and then you're going to clip that plastic casing over that. And then there's the 4 screws in here. And then you're ready to put the big, huge plastic piece in. And all you need to do there is have 2 people pull this out all the way. And you hold the sides out. And you click that thing in, plastic piece in from the top so that it clicks into these 2 spots here and on this side here. And then you're just going to put the 4 screw, hold the big door up against this. And you put in the 1, 2, 3, 4 screws on there, and then you can close it up and you're all good. You should be good to go.